It's 6 p.m., September 19th, 2023, City of Pasadena, Texas. Council meeting is called to order. Pastor Kevin Ward. Hey, Pastor. How you doing, sir? You'll lead us in invocation. Pledge allegiance by Councilmember Dolan Dow. If everyone would please stand. Thank you, Pastor.
Join me in prayer today. Dear Heavenly Father, we consider it an honor and a privilege to live in this great country, to abide in the state of Texas, and we're thankful for the city of Pasadena. We thank you for these leaders that have taken on a mantle of leadership to help lead our city. And as we come to you now, we pray, God, that you would bless them and give them wisdom. We pray that you continue to prosper Pasadena, Lord, and continue to help it grow, Lord. And we ask, Lord, that you would prosper the businesses that abide here. We pray that evil would not prevail in our city. We pray blessing over our police and fire and those who serve us regularly, our city workers. Thank you for our teachers and our public schools and those who serve so faithfully, God. And now we come to you for this meeting. We ask blessing on it. We pray that you would direct us. We pray that you would lead us. And we ask this all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Please lead me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Dow.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, Pasadena rodeo season is here. There will be great entertainers, a carnival for the kids, and upfront personal rodeo experience for the whole family. Since the 1940s, the Pasadena Livestock Show and Rodeo has been awarding scholarships to students from local area high schools, which is used to pay for tuition and related fees while attending a college, university, or technical trade school. Gates at the Convention Center and Rodeo Grounds will open this Friday, September 22nd through the 30th. Please come out and support your local rodeo. I also want to thank Chief Bruger for an outstanding job with 25 plus years of service with the Pasadena Police Force. And I wish you well in all your future endeavors. With that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barrow.
I also want to recognize Chief Bruger. I'm sad but happy at the same time to report that we're losing our police chief. Chief Bruger has accepted a new position outside the state of Texas, and he'll be retiring in a few weeks with 26 years of service. Since serving on city council, I've worked closely with the chief, and I have to say he's done an outstanding job representing the men and women and holding them to the highest standard. I know a couple of things to point out that he's done under his leadership. The police department has become an accredited police department. He's invested heavily in technology to help prevent crime and solve cases. He's reorganized the police department to make it more efficient. He was instrumental in creating the DWI task force that's highly recognized around the state. And he's made Pasadena one of the safest cities in the area. More importantly, under his leadership, he kept the department off the news. You don't see Pasadena on the news for excessive use of force, misconduct, vehicle pursuits that involve accidents or lawsuits against the city. Well, one of the things I will always remember about Chief Bruger is that he helped bridge the gap between the community and the police department. When I took office in 2009, one of the major complaints that I had from residents was the community and the trust that the police department had with this community, with the residents. I remember talking to Chief Bruger back then when he was a lieutenant. Later on, he became an assistant chief, and later on, he became a chief. And one of the things that he did was help bridge that gap between certain people in our community and the police department, and to help build that trust with our police department. And I can tell you that now, 12 years later, that I don't get those complaints anymore, or those people that call to say, hey, we don't trust the Pasadena Police Department, or stuff like that. He's done an instrumental job. I know the men and women highly respect you. We're definitely going to miss you. But I know that one of the things that you really wanted to do is have succession planning. And there's no doubt that Assistant Chief Wright, who's going to be our interim chief, will do an outstanding job with his 32 years of service, and I congratulate him also. Good luck, Chief. Thank you for all you've done. And with that, I'll pass, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Shainbaum.
Chief Bruger, you're going to be truly missed. I've had the opportunity to work for you with the last 6 years being on council, You have always answered your phone. You have always responded in a very professional manner. The men and women of the police department highly respect you. There's been discussions among you and your officers, and you've always listened. And that's what makes you a great leader, is your ability to listen. You were courageous here during your time with Pasadena, not only as chief, but for the years prior to being a chief, being out on the streets and protecting the citizens. We wish you and your family the very best. We wish that you have a very fruitful career in your new course of endeavors. We will miss you, and you always put the city employees at the same level as your police officers. You cared about everybody, and we truly are in your debt for doing that and making our city better. So God bless you and your family on your path forward. And we also want to recognize Chief Wright as the interim chief, and I know council will all be looking forward to working with him as well. And stay in touch, please. And then finally, I would like to share with you one of our former city council women, Jackie Welch, passed away, and her funeral service will be Saturday, September 23rd at 9 a.m., followed by the service at 10 a.m. at First Presbyterian Church at 4647 Preston Road here in Pasadena. Jackie served on council, and her husband Bill served on council as well. They were true cornerstones in our community. Jackie, you never saw Jackie without a smile or a camera in her hand. She was never upset at anybody. She loved everybody. She was a strong community member. She gave back to this community more than anybody will ever know, and her heart was golden. May she rest in peace, and God bless her family. And Mayor, with that, I pass.
Thank you. Mr. Villarreal.
Chief Brugger, in the short time that I've been on City Council, I appreciate you always answering my calls and my emails. It was good seeing you the other day. But I also want to thank you that before I even got into City Council and just working out in the community on behalf of the church, you always answered our calls. Always, we needed to meet with you, or the pastors needed to meet with you. I appreciate that you were always there to answer our questions. And as Psalms 121 says, "May the Lord guard your coming in and your going out from this day forth." I remember, also condolences to Jackie Welch's family. I was just thinking different events, seeing her throughout the city, and she would have her camera and smile, right? And as soon as, her smile was very contagious, and so she always got a picture of a good smile because her smile was so contagious. And so my condolences to her family.
Thank you. Ms. Villarreal.
The first time I heard Chief Brugger speak moved me to tears. And I am very sad that you are leaving. You are a very personable cop, and we really appreciate you bridging that gap between the community and this police force. And good luck with everything that you do. Sorry, I'm about to move to tears again. I don't want to see you go. I'd also like to thank you for always never letting grant money slip us by. You've done a great job of making sure that our citizens get, and our police, our officers, get as much funding as they possibly can, get the most, help that we can. In particular, I'd like to update voters that voted for the Crime Control Board recently. This is a program that we are continuing, STEP program with the state, and 50% the state will pay, and 50% will be funded from our Crime Control Board. A lot of people always ask me, what does the Crime Control Board pay for? And this is one of the things. A goal is to reduce crashes, injuries, and fatalities, and the strategy will be to increase enforcement, high visibility of enforcement. And so we're approving something that is going to help show more police officers on 225, Preston, Pasadena Boulevard, Spencer, Beltway 8, and more streets. This is also to reduce speeding. This is and refers to seatbelt laws, traffic-related laws, essentially. We're also approving something for CMV safety, and I believe this is very important to us because we're industry leaders and we're very close to the port. So commercial vehicles are all over our city, and it's in our best safety to make sure that they're also complying with laws. And I appreciate that they'll be taking extra efforts to do that for us. I also want to express my condolences for the Honorable Mrs. Welch, and I hope that you will keep Mr. Welch in prayers and their family as well. And also, Honorable Roy Meese is going to retire from the Port of Houston, and I also want to thank him for his commitment to Pasadena and the Greater Houston, because as a young 26-year-old lawyer who served as a city council member, he was a vital part of encompassing land for Pasadena. And him and other members tirelessly fought against annexations, researching laws themselves, putting boots to the ground, ultimately negotiating with sister cities for the developments of what we call home now. As a port commissioner, he's advocated for Pasadena, and I greatly appreciate his and his family's contribution and efforts for Pasadena citizens. And I'd like to send my gratitude and my well wishes to their family. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Mr. Guerrero.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to express my condolences to Councilwoman Jackie Welch's family as well, although I never had the opportunity to meet her. Her and her family are in my prayers. And I'd like to join my colleagues in wishing Chief Brugger the best. You will dearly be missed, and you sure we can't keep you? Thank you for all your years of service. You're a model to all of us, and just know that you're leaving Pasadena Police Department better than what you found it, which should be all our goals in every role we do. So thank you for your service. Good luck to your future endeavors, and if we could ever bring you back, we'll definitely try. With the best to you and your family. And on that note, I wanted to take the time to thank outstanding officer in the community, Officer Garza, for answering the call in need of a resident whose wall had been impacted by a vehicle. It was on the verge of collapsing, and this had gone on for about 3 to 4 weeks, almost a month. A resident who resides in front of L.F. Smith Elementary. I want to take the time, and he's here to recognize Officer Garza for providing the labor, and also Councilmember Arnaldo Ibarra for providing the supplies donations. Thank you for showing Pasadena strong and supporting all residents of Pasadena fairly. I was just called in to pick up the trash, and I said, okay. So we're glad to be able to stand by all our residents. I also wanted to highlight the program held by the American Legion Post 521, where 20 young people were sent to the Capitol to learn about the legislative process. I had the opportunity to attend their graduation, as well as Councilmember Arnaldo Ibarra, and show our support for these veterans. Regardless of districts, we stand united with our Pasadena residents and our veterans. Thank you all for your service. I wanted to also thank our Chief of Staff, Dan, for assisting me in holding the contractor accountable on the completion of a job in Cary and Jenkins Road on the way to Pomeroy Elementary. That was an ongoing job for about a year, where residents were forced to walk on the street through Jenkins, which is a very transited street and was an increasing danger. This was unacceptable, and I connected with Dan, and we were able to hold the contractor accountable and have them finish that job, as we are pushing forward the completion, the quality control review, and inspection of all projects around Pasadena. Thank you, all the people I've mentioned, for your support and for being part of Pasadena Strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Van Hel.
Well, the city lost its best cheerleader this weekend with Jackie Welch. She was on city council for 8 years, and then she was on the Second Century Board. She loved Pasadena. She wanted to do anything to help the city. And for years, she was at all kinds of events, taking pictures. She'd get right in the middle of things. Even the mutton busting, she got a little too in the middle of that one. That she was an Energizer buddy with a camera and a smile. National Night Out was in August, but Texas has the sense not to do it then. We're doing it 2 weeks from now on the evening of Tuesday, October 3rd. If your neighborhood is planning a party and you want a police officer, a fire truck, or a council member there, please contact the appropriate department now so they can schedule it. And you're not getting Chief Brugger to stay. He's retiring here. He's actually moving up to be assistant city manager in Myrtle Beach.
Thank you. Okay, brings us down to citizens wishing to speak. Sergeant Bryan, you're up, sir.
Well, I was going to come and talk, but I think every one of y'all stole my thunder. So regarding, I'm the president of PPOU, as y'all all know. I worked many years with Chief Bruger and through my career, actually my entire career with Chief Bruger. And I just want to say on behalf of the PPOU, Chief, and all the late nights, long phone calls, and most importantly, just, the candid conversations, right? It's been a long time, a good experience, and I not only appreciate you as a chief, but I appreciate you as a friend. And I mean that. We've had some long times together and some hard times together, but we've always worked through it, and I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, so on behalf of the men and women of the Pasadena Police Department, I want to thank you for your service. And Mayor, I also want to thank you too, sir, for a quick response to the interim chief. We do really appreciate that. And I ask not only you, Mayor, but also the councils, let's just continue the steady ship and move forward with Jerry Wright and until the next mayor comes in and determines how to lead this department from this point forward. But with that, again, Chief, and from all the men and women of the Pasadena Police Department, thank you so much for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones, you're up.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Jones. I live in Parkgate North. I've been in Pasadena for more than 40 years now. I wanted to address council to talk about the tax situation. It seems kind of funny to me. I see on the agenda for tonight that there's two final readings in regards to the city of Pasadena taxes. But there's also a special meeting tomorrow night. I mean, this doesn't make sense that you're going to have a special meeting to talk about taxes, but you're going to vote on it tonight. One of the points I always bring up at this time of the year, whenever the budget comes around, is that the appraisal district has already determined that I have to pay more taxes because they said my property cost my property is more valuable than it has been in the past. Every year it goes up. They are allowed to go up 10% a year, so they do. And now we want to also adjust the multiplier. I mean, the final taxes we pay are based on what the appraisal department says our property is worth, and then the value, the number that the city puts on, that's the multiplier against the value of your property. So your taxes go up twice. If you raise the value of your property and you raise the multiplier, you're getting double dipped. So that's double taxation. I've already had my taxes raised. The appraisal district did that for you. So I don't need a higher rate from the city for you to get more money. You're getting more money because the appraisal district said you do more money. My house is the same old house. It hadn't changed, but it's gone up. My property's gone up. The taxes are going up. But please remember that you're double dipping me if you raise the rate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Erica Gutierrez?
Hi, good evening. My name is Erica Mendez Gutierrez, and I am here on behalf of an organization that I have took the liberty to start, Keep Pasadena Beautiful, which will be, when my funds have been raised, an affiliate of Keep America and Keep Texas Beautiful. This mission, the mission of Keep Texas Beautiful, is to educate, inspire, as well as empower its local cities and residents to take responsibility for their communities by providing educational resources and programs towards recycling and litter prevention so that Texans can live in cleaner and greener neighborhoods. My goal with Keep Pasadena Beautiful is to implement these ideas by uniting my neighbors and hopefully helping them realize that a cleaner city starts with us. I have been a resident of Pasadena for over 37 years. My father has been a city employee for over 40 years, and he relocated our family to Pasadena in the early 80s. I currently live here. I play, shop, eat, laugh, and love here. My children attend 3 schools in our district, and I'm also a product of Pasadena ISD, as well as an alumni of the University of Houston Clear Lake. I not only live in our city, but I also own 2 Pasadena businesses. So I literally spend my entire day within our city lines. Therefore, this hometown girl can testify to the growth that our city has seen in the last 2 decades. Pasadena is now a central hub. However, with that growth and the good that it has also brought the bad. Litter rates are at all-time highs across our country, which studies have shown that where there is litter, crime usually follows because litter attracts litter. Keep Pasadena Beautiful is currently volunteer-run, and donations are needed for this organization. I am hosting a fundraising event on November 18th for what I hope is my first of many educational expos at the Burke Crenshaw Park Pavilion, which our Parks Department has generously donated. I have invited our local waste providers, Waste Management and Frontier, to this event so they could educate our residents on how to properly recycle, as well as how to dispose of our trash. I am here to invite you to join me on my mission by attending my event on November 18th and any future events, because I cannot have a successful day or a chapter without the support of our local government. Litter is costly to clean up, and your support or disapproval will not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I also have flyers.
Mr. Ralph Morrissey.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. When young folks are ticketed for making a bad decision, I'm talking about misdemeanor like drinking underage, they often end up in the Justice of the Peace Court, officiated by Judge Holly Williams. If she deems it appropriate, she offers them an option: do community service instead of paying a fine and having this on their record. Many, if not most, choose community service. After speaking with her office, I found that accepting community services those accepting community services are put in contact with the city of Pasadena for assignment. No doubt many of you have seen these individuals collecting litter on roads in Pasadena. The fact that there is litter to be collected is an issue for another time. I didn't know you were going to speak. In February, the Pasadena Animal Shelter was hit by an awesome storm, an EF3 tornado, that made the shelter unusable, leaving them with only one option: turn the adoption center into a temporary shelter. It is overflowing with dogs in need, many in small kennels intended for transportation. While the staff does all they can to make the stay for these often abandoned dogs the best it can be, they could really use our help. If instead of collecting trash, perhaps some of those accepting community service could be assigned to assist in cleaning kennels and surrounding areas. This would allow staff to spend more time attending to the emotional and physical needs of these beautiful animals. And who knows, being around these animals and their unconditional love might just make an impression on some of these misguided youngsters. Some then might even decide to become volunteers, spending their spare time walking dogs and playing with cats, giving them the love they need and deserve. According to the JP's office, the city assigns the community service. Therefore, I'm asking that y'all consider this as an opportunity for making life better for our furry friends and give some unruly teens a reason to focus on something other than getting into trouble. This truly could end up being a win-win proposition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brenda King.
My name is Brenda King. I've lived in the area for over 30 years, really all of my life. But I'm here again about Thistledown, the problem with the rats. A lot has been done from the city on cleaning. The bamboo's been cut down. They've done a lot, but there's a lot more to go. And one of my main questions is, I've heard they've been turned over to the state for their help versus to the city. And how many times, my question, can you disobey the city ordinances or laws, state of Texas, for what this man is doing, keeping on feeding the rats? He says that he's going to quit and comply, but he has not. So what are you going to do about that? What can be done about that? He has not put his trash out for probably the last 3 to 4 Mondays and Thursdays trash day. So what's he doing with the trash? Taking it off someplace else so we can't see? Because he still has 3 to 4 bags of big 25, 30-pound bags of food. So he's still feeding them. We have pictures of them out doing things they shouldn't be doing. So next, I'm going to have an attorney or something help me because my taxes are going up and the value of my home is going down because of the rats. I can't sell my house right now. I would love to get out of there because I'm tired of dealing with the man. So I beg you to find somebody that can help us because this is serious. I have to clean my porch every morning for rat feces with Clorox. And we've been dealing with this for 10 years. We thought it was squirrels. We've been dealing with this since June. And he's making a fool of Pasadena in the city mayor's office because he thinks he's getting away with being disobedient to the law and to the ordinance. And he's not going to stop because he has a sickness. He has a hoarding sickness. He cannot quit doing what he's doing. So what can y'all do to help us and have it done hastily? Because it's out of control. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, presentation of minutes, September 5th, 2023, 10 a.m. Motion, Ibarra, second by Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, brings us down to progress payments. Motion, Ibarra, second, Valerio. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Brings us down to finance resolutions. Motion Shanebine, second by, I don't know who this, by Dow. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Brings us down to personnel changes. A. Shanebine. Guerrero. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, Madam Secretary, brings us down to our final readings.
Ordinance 2023-147, authorizing and approving an agreement by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Daniel Cruz for Tennis Pro concierge services at the Harry P. Taylor Tennis Center.
Motion Ibarra, second by Dow. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
This is for our tennis pro, and the contract as written and as it's been for a while says that if the city lets him go, no fault of his, the city has to give 30 days notice. If he decides to leave, he has to give 90 days notice. And there aren't a lot of circumstances where you're going to know that you need to leave for something else and have that much time that you can give. Our last pro left with less time than that, and he left in good standing. So I want this changed to where it's the same. It's 30 days either way. It's even either way. I move to amend ordinance 2023-147, 5.01C, to change 90 days written notice to 30 days written notice.
Okay, we have a motion to second. Second Guerrero. Any questions? All in favor?
Mayor.
Go ahead.
I respectfully disagree and would like to vote no to this.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that the company signed the contract and understands what they signed, accepted the job that way, and our job is to look out for the citizens. So I am voting no to this amendment.
Okay, ma'am. The motion, right? Yes, sir. Okay, the motion, okay. So, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, one no. The motion passes. Now let's vote for the actual ordinance of 147. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. All right, Madam Secretary, go ahead.
Ordinance 2023-145, 2023-146, 2023-148, 2023-149, 2023-150, 2023-151, 2023-152, 2023-153, 2023-154, 2023-155, 2023-156, 2023-157, 2023-158, 2023-159, 2023-160, 2023-161, 2023-162, 2023-163. Mayor, on the first two items, we're going to need to have a roll call vote. So I'm going to go back and read each one of those separately,
Okay.
and then we'll get a roll call vote for
Okay,
those.
so let's vote for those, let's take those two off, and we'll vote for the rest of them.
Yes,
Need a
sir.
motion? Motion Shanebine, second by Valerio. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, Madam Secretary.
Ordinance 2023-145, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the City of Pasadena, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023, and ending September 30, 2024, and appropriating those amounts to those object accounts containing a repealing clause, containing a savings clause, and containing a severability clause. A roll call vote is required for adoption.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, we need a motion first. Motion Ibarra. Second by Guerrero. Any questions? All right, council, we'll go for a roll call vote. We're going to start H. H.
Aye.
G.
Aye.
F.
Aye.
He's not here. C. D.
Aye.
C.
Aye.
B.
Aye.
A.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. All right, Madam Secretary, brings on to the next one.
Ordinance 2023-146, an ordinance ratifying the property tax increase reflected in the annual budget for the City of Pasadena, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023, and ending September 30, 2024. A roll call vote is required for adoption.
Motion by Shanebine, second by Dow. Any questions? Or go straight to the vote. H.
Aye.
G.
Aye.
F.
Aye.
C. I said F, right?
Aye.
Okay. Brings us down to D.
Aye.
C. B. A. Aye for me. Passes. All right, Madam Secretary, brings us down to
First reading, sir?
yes, please.
Ordinance 2023-164, authorizing approving a professional services agreement with Concept Engineers Incorporated to exceed the amount of $63,000 over the period of 1 year for professional consulting services related to construction management for the City of Pasadena Home Investment Partnerships Program. Ordinance 2023-165, authorizing and approving a grant application and agreement between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and the Texas Department of Transportation in the amount of $161,846 to conduct a comprehensive vehicular traffic enforcement program to be administered by the Pasadena Police Department. This is a continuation of the Police Department's comprehensive vehicular enforcement program. Ordinance 2023-166, authorizing approving a grant application and agreement between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and the Texas Department of Transportation in the amount of $23,972 to conduct a commercial motor vehicle traffic enforcement program to be administered by the Pasadena Police Department for fiscal year 2024. This is the continuation of the Police Department's commercial motor vehicle enforcement program. Ordinance 2023-167, authorizing the mayor on the City of Pasadena on behalf of the Pasadena Police Department to accept a grant award from the State of Texas Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority in the amount of $83,940. Ordinance 2023-168, authorizing approving continuation of the Office of National Drug Control Policy, High Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Grant Program, and the acceptance of the 2023-2024 federal award from the program in the amount of $76,400. Ordinance 2023-169, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pasadena, Texas, at Chapter 37, Water, Sewers, and Sewage Disposal, by amending Sections 3743, Overbilling, Underbilling, by adding G, and at Chapter 14, Garbage, Trash, and Rubbish, by amending Sections 14.11, Billing and Collection, providing a repealing clause, providing a savings clause, providing for severability, and providing a penalty. Ordinance 2023-170, an ordinance accepting an easement and assessment and assumption, Mayor, on behalf of the City of Pasadena, Texas, of easement for drain improvements, purpose over across 2 acres of land as described in Exhibit B from property owner Mr. Jose Mora and appropriating $24,817 for the partial acquisition value related to the Dabney Storm Interconnection Project D059. Ordinance 2023-171, authorizing approving a contract by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Dowdy Construction Company Incorporated for the Golden Acres WWTP Screen Improvements and Influent Line Replacement Project CIP number WW046, WW087, for a total appropriation of $3,074,925 from the American Rescue Plan Fund Balance Account and the Systems Fund CIP Fund Balance Account. Ordinance 2023-172, authorizing approving a contract by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Teamwork Construction Services for the Browning Subdivision Drainage Improvement Project, CIP number D042, for a total appropriation of $1,907,567.55 from the 2018 Certificate of Obligation Fund Balance Account. Ordinance 2023-173, authorizing and approving the change in the plan administration from Hartford Bay Bridge to Retiree First for the city's Medicare supplement.
Motion, Ibarra, second by Guerrero. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Passes. All right, Madam Secretary.
Emergency reading, ordinance 2023-174, an emergency one reading ordinance authorizing approving a contract between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Hahn Equipment Company Incorporated for replacement of certain critical municipal water works pump equipment for a total appropriation of $182,118.
Motion Guerrero, second by Ibarra. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, Madam Secretary, we're going to read resolutions, and we'll read the H by itself,
Yes, sir.
and that's last.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 2023-189, accepting an in-kind donation of prizes for Lotteria event valued at $120 from Parsons House, LaPorte, for use by the Parks and Recreation Department in connection with the Madison Job Senior Center. Resolution 2023-190, authorizing the Pasadena Parks and Recreation Department to apply for a Port of Houston sponsorship. Resolution 2023-191, accepting an in-kind donation of cookies, coupon stickers, and 6 $25 gift cards valued at $950 from Whataburger for use by the Parks and Recreation Department in connection with the Monster Mash event on October 28, 2023. Resolution 2023-192, accepting a donation of $5,000 from Occidental Chemical Corporation for use by the Neighborhood Network in connection with Team Up to Clean Up 2023. Resolution 2023-193, accepting a donation of $2,500 from Chevron Products Company to be allotted to Volunteer Pasadena for Food Drive 2023. Resolution 2023-194, accepting an assessment and assumption on behalf of the City of Pasadena, Texas, of easements for drain improvements proposes for over and along in the cross one tract of land as described in Exhibit A from the Pasadena Independent School District. Resolution 2023-195, authorizing a formal service awards program for full-time active employees who become eligible for a service award in the year in which they complete 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50 years of service.
Motion Guerrero, second by Van Hout. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, Madam Secretary.
Resolution 2023-196, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pasadena accepting the resignation of Roy Meese from the Board of the Port of Houston Authority effective October 1, 2023, and appointing Alan Robb to the Port of Houston Authority for a term effective October 1, 2023, and expiring February 1, 2025.
Motion Dow, second by Shanebine. Any questions?
Mayor,
Yes.
I want to thank Mr. Meese. Thank you for your many years of service, probably over 25 years of service to the city, not only as a council member, chairman of the EDC, and the Port Commissioner. So please enjoy your retirement, and thank you for your public service. That'll pass.
Mayor. I'd also like to recognize Roy Meese. You were the cornerstone on the Port Commission, cornerstone on City Council, community leader. Thank you for your service. The Port of Houston is the economic engine of our nation, and you oversaw and you helped its growth over the many years that you have served. You served very professionally and very ethically, always putting Pasadena residents at the forefront, but also, too, putting the region and the nation in the forefront. So your service is very much appreciated, and thank you very much. That I pass.
Any other comments from council? With that, I'm going to have Mr. Meese, you come up to the microphone before I say this passes, and we'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you. wanted to share with you a few things about the port real quick. I should have been doing this for you all along. The port is a big economic impact. In fact, in the I'm giving you figures of 2022. We have not, of course, compiled 23 at this point in time. But jobs created in the United States because of the port and the different ports are 3,365,220. That breaks down to the Port of Houston's terminals employ 1,283,123 people just because of the Port of Houston. Now that's done through direct jobs, indirect jobs, induced jobs, and related jobs, truckers and different things that's created, jobs that are created because of the port. But all total throughout the state of Texas and the United States, there's 3,365,000,000 people employed because the Port of Houston sits out there. The income it's created is well over 226 million that's spent back into the communities. Now this is the United States. Federal taxes that they pay is some 62 million. Of course, they're always going to get their monies no matter what we do. But the ones I want to really share with you is what the Port of Houston does for the state of Texas. It's amazing. Jobs alone are from the Port of Houston directly are 979,495. That's jobs that are created because the Port of Houston sits out here. That's direct jobs, indirect jobs, truckers, and the type of induced jobs. Private deals that set along the port, not the Port of Houston's terminals, but the other terminals that set out here on the Port of Houston, employ 560,992 jobs. Total in the state of Texas is 1,540,417 jobs that are created by the Port of Houston, either through their personal terminal or the terminals that you see on the Port of Houston. Amazing when you think about it. But the number that really blows my mind is that the total economic value to the state of Texas because of the Port of Houston, by our port is 261 million. The other ports that set out there on the day is 177. A total of 439,219,000. That's 18.6 of the gross domestic product of the state of Texas. Almost 20% of what's created money-wise in the state of Texas comes out of the Port of Houston. You don't realize that, I guess, until you get out there and you start saying, my goodness, what are we doing out here? But some things that really, the TDUs, that's the boxes that you see on these trucks. When I went to the Port of Houston, we did about 1,900,000. We now do over 4 million. We're fifth in the nation on TDUs, but ours raised to 18% just last year. Ours is growing greater than any port. And the problem come about probably because of the paving or the opening of the Panama Canal. But the real big emphasis happened in L.A. They had a strike that set for 6 months. You couldn't get a box in or out of the port. They just sat there. So so many of these other big people said, look, we need to diversify. We need to find other revenues. And Port of Houston happened to be where they landed, and our business has just boomed since that point in time. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're the number one exporting port in the U.S. in international tonnage. It means we ship out more than anybody in the United States. We produce exports and production of ethylene and polyethylenes, and we're the number one port on that by exporting those things. And of course, they're made right out here on the channel. In resins, that's those little plastic bottles that you see. We're the number one, and we have 59.6% of the market because it's all made right along the Port of Houston on our channel. And we ship that out to China and to all the other places. I guess we're still shipping to China, I'm sure about that. Container ports in the U.S. Gulf, we're the #1 container port. We're #1 deep water traffic port in the United States. And like I say, the TDUs, we set #5, but we do a lot of boxes. And give you an example. We do 10,000 transactions per day at the port on trucks coming and going, 10,000. Now, if they pick up a box while they're there, bring their box and drop it, and they pick up one, then that number goes to 12,000. 2,000 being picked up, but 10,000 being dropped off every day, in and out. It takes 40 minutes for us to unload and do that. We have a computer system, and they can pre-register, and they can come right on in. Our problem is our mom and pops come to, they have 2 or 3 trucks, never pre-registered. They just show up with their box, and 40, hour and a half later, you've got the information that you can let it go through. So it backs them up. So we do have a line, a couple lines now for unregistered, and we put them over there so they can do the waiting and let us keep doing our business. But it's amazing when you think of it. 10,000 transactions per day done at the Port of Houston. That's done right out there at Barber's Cut and Bayport, 2 big ports. We're the #1 largest steel plant in the state of Texas. We handle more than anybody in the entire nation. We're #1. And we manage the federal trade zone, number 84. And we're #1. We rank #1 in that position. But my real reason for coming here weren't giving you those deals. I came here to tell you that I've had several conversations with Mayor Wagner over the last couple of months. When I got appointed, there were 7 of us appointed at the same time. I'd asked my cohorts where the restroom was. They didn't know any more than I did. None of us knew anything. It was really a chore to figure out what's on the first floor, what's here, what's there. It was so much to learn so quickly, and actually no assistance other than the top dogs who were busy doing other things. So it was a struggle. And 4 of us are supposed to go off of this port in the next year or so. So I visited with Mayor Wagner and felt like I should go on off and allow him to appoint someone that we can get their feet on the ground before the other 3 go, and you're looking around wondering what's going on. I think that education or that extra year or so he gets to serve is going to make a great difference in what we can do here in Pasadena. We're inundated by the port. We're working right now with TxDOT. At least we got it on the map to do something with 225. And what we really want is a double-decker. We want a top one where all the trucks go, and then we want the middle one where our cars go. So it'll help the traffic. But that's several years coming, but it is coming. There's no question about it. And I really want to thank the city for having enough faith to allow me to do this for the last 11 years, 12 years, nearly 12 years. I've learned so much. I'll be honest with you, been here all my life and know all about the port, but never realized how much it employed, how much it did, and the transactions until I got there. It just overwhelms you. And they're trying to build a new building. We've got so many things, and of course we're widening the channel right now. That's over $1 million that we have to pay, and we're paying it ourselves. We didn't go for bonds. The port's doing that. We're having to do our little bonds, but we have to pay those bonds back. I really thought we should have gone for a bond election. If ever a bond election was created, it was created for something that's going to last hundreds of years. But they elected not to do it that way. And my concern now is, what are we going to do when we need another port and another docking deal? And when you do that, you're talking about $12 million. That's what it takes to put one in. And where's that money going to keep coming from? And we've got to hope the economy stays good, things keep going like it is. I guess we're going to be okay. But in 2 times in my life, I've had a chance to make history in my opinion. And that's when I was sitting on this city council, just like you fellas. And we annexed some land out here, a bunch of trees at that time, basically because the city of Houston was going to annex everything out here. And they had put a 10-foot strip around the city of Pasadena, which wasn't fair. And we also found a law that was passed in 1917 that says if you have a navigable stream, that you can go down that stream, you can annex a half a mile on each side of it. So we started at 7 o'clock in the morning with a canoe and a backhoe, and we started down Armin's Bayou. 10 o'clock, a bunch of us left and came back up here, had a meeting, a council meeting, and we annexed all that land. And then, of course, when we got out about 2 in the morning, we reconvened and we made the annexation. We lost in the trial court and we lost in the appellate court. But we were all young and didn't know better, so we went right on to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled in our favor. And we got all the land, which is now your Bayport complex. It's paid you taxes for years and years and years. And the way we settled it, because Houston was going to appeal it again and it's going to get drug out, we gave them the extraterritorial jurisdiction to Clear Lake. That's why Clear Lake could never become a city, because their extraterritorial jurisdiction wasn't in our city because we gave it away. It was Houston, and Houston didn't want them to become a city. They wanted them to stay in Houston. And Nassau Bay, we gave them back that because they were fixing to put a man on the moon. And boy, I tell you, Louis Welch didn't want Pasadena to be the person to put them. So we were able to trade and walk off with all these trees that ultimately become the Bayport complex. So, you know, I figure like that I got to, at a young age, to share in history over that. And I was the lawyer on the deal at that time and got to do the negotiation with Owens and a bunch down in Houston to get out where we got. So I always thought real proud of being able to be in that position, and did in that position because of the city of Pasadena, and by being a councilman such as y'all. And then along comes, you get pointed to the port, and you historically turning around to widen the channel to where you now can put all the big boats in and put $1 billion. So again, to me, that's a real history thing. It's going to be there for evers and evers and evers, except you're not going to have to start it like in canoes like we did. You're going to do it in the big boats now, and they can come and go. And I want to thank the city very much for allowing me the privilege of representing you. I've tried to do the best I could, but so much, I'm sure, has slipped by me and all the rest of it because it goes so fast over there. I mean, you know, I'm telling you, fellas, I'm talking about fast. And we now creating exit for our top people, because all of a sudden so many of the people that are running the port are all the same age. All of a sudden, the 55s and 60s, what happens when they all walk off? Who's going to run that thing out there? So we're having to now invest in trying to find the young people to come in and sit behind these people to where it goes on and on and on. I'm now going to pass that effort off to a new guy. But another thing that we did is that I had a great problem with when I first go there, because every time we gave away money, it was to the city of Houston. And I couldn't understand that. They've got a very little bit of the port. We've got way more than all of them. We've got the trucks. You don't see trucks in River Oaks, and you don't see them in the west side of Houston. You see them in Pasadena, Deerport, Channelview. But we weren't getting our share of the money. And they came in one day and made a motion, and they put $1 million to give the city of Houston $250,000 a year for 4 years. I, of course, was the only one that opposed that. So the next month, I made a motion to give the cities in East Harris County $1 million. And of course, they were backed in the corner and had to support it, and they supported it. And we built a $300,000 pavilion down in Shore Acres, and they're really indebted. They're right across the street from the port. The lights go on, the noise goes on all the time, but we put them a nice pavilion there. We're now in works with the county to put $300,000 in Channelview with a deal for parks. And the rest of that money is I'm setting on, and I think something should be done in Pasadena and the Port of Houston. And I'm going to be talking to our new commissioner and lead him right on down the line to make sure we get that money. I've tried to put a lot of money from the Port of Houston into Pasadena since I've been there, and frankly, I've been very successful at it. It's because they're shameful for all the stuff they're dumping over in Houston and not out here. But it's getting better, and I think it's going to get better. And with the leadership that you people are giving, and with, I understand you have made an appointment. I picked that up sitting out there a while ago, and you got a good one. He won't go in like I was. Alan Robb has worked on that port for years, so he at least knows where the boats are and where the cranes are and what's going on. That's his job. So he's going to make you a good one. He's going to get a real quick start. I'm going to meet with him next week and turn over whatever I've got that I think is important to him that will help him. And I appreciate Mayor Wagner allowing me to visit with him for the last couple of months to try to figure out what could we do to make us in the limelight instead of leaving us. And you hate to leave a good job, but also I think for the benefit of the city of Pasadena, I think I should resign effective October the 1st. I'll make my last port missions next Tuesday. In the meantime, I'm going to go get my granddaughter married on Saturday night, and then I'm going to come back on Sunday and do my thing up there at the port. And then all of a sudden, but I want you to know I'm not leaving Pasadena. This is my home. I love it. I've always been here. I'm willing to do anything, any place, any way that I can serve you, and I want you to know that. And I think you do. I appreciate your time to let me tell you this.
Thank you, Mr. Meese. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Meese, again, thank you for all of you've done for this city. Thank you for a little history lesson there. It's very interesting of how Clear Lake became Pasadena. We thank you for getting in that canoe. With that, this meeting is adjourned. God bless.